So Mathews just dropped their 2021 hunting bow lineup. Today I'm going to talk about the 4 new bows they dropped and what to think about them. What's going on, guys, and welcome to the Boover Crew. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and if you find value in this video, give it a like. Also, I will put a link to Mathews' website down in the description below. If you want to go check out these bows for yourself, you can go do that. Check the show notes below. So like I said, Mathews just dropped 4 new bows: the V3, the Atlas, and the Prima, or Prima. I don't know how you actually pronounce it. The main bow this year is the V3. When I look at the bow, I think it's a VXR, just kind of regurgitated material. And it's kind of in the name too, V3. You know, they started with the Verdicts. Actually, they started with the Triax, and then they came out with the Verdicts the next year. And then the Verdicts has kind of been the baseline of their flagship bow here in the last few years. They had the Verdicts, then they came out with the VXR here. The VXR stands for Verdicts Extended Riser. And then this year they came out with the V3, kind of just Verdicts 3.0. It's the same shape riser, just a different cutout design. That, again, kind of just screams VXR to me. It just looks the same. The last couple of years, they've had this kind of roller guard right here. It just comes straight out of the riser and runs on the cables. This year they came out with what they call the cover guard, I believe it is. It's an angled roller guard that goes down. And what that does, they say that it's at the exact center of the cable system, which allows for a perfectly timed cam rotation, making the bow more efficient. Another new thing that they did on it is the new 3D dampening system. They put a new dampener in there. I forget what it's called, but it's a little bit different. According to Chris B, which is a pretty popular archer as well as a YouTuber, he says that the V3 is a little bit quieter than the VXR, and I'm guessing it has something to do with the new dampening system. The big thing with the V3 this year is that it has a longer riser but a shorter axle to axle. If you look on the VXR here, this is the VXR 28. It's a 28-inch axle to axle. What they did this year is they came out with a 27 and a 30.5. But, I say but, because the thing is this year is they made the riser even longer than the VXR bows. V3 27, they have a longer riser than the VXR, but a shorter axle to axle. Mathews says that the future of a stable bow technology is in the riser length, not in the axle to axle. I think that's very cool technology, and I think for me, at least shorter framed archers, that's actually really cool because we can get shorter and shorter bows in a really stable platform. But for the longer draw archer, I could see how it's kind of annoying, because they're having all these small bows, which is not terrible, but I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like the short bow, basically because of the string angle. Having a really steep string angle, it's just not comfortable. It's not comfortable to anchor in, and it doesn't work as good as a longer axle bow. I think Mathews kind of hurt themselves a little bit with that one. I would have liked to see them come out with like maybe even a third V3 model, having the 27, 30.5, and maybe like a 34 or something. I feel like that would have really just made this series better. On the topic of a long draw archer, I think Mathews realized that, and they did come out with a second bow or third bow, the Atlas. The Atlas is a 34 3/4 inch axle to axle bow with a 7 3/4 inch brace height. Now, when you think about that, that is a massive bow. 7 3/4 inch, that's long. 34 inches axle to axle, that's long, that's a big bow. Now, this bow has a 350 IBO rated speed, which is really impressive for a bow of that of those dimensions and specs. Normally a bow like that would be a little slower, but it's very fascinating that that bow is that fast. I want to see how this bow does in the future. I want to see how it sells and what it does, because I feel like it might be an underrated bow, because Mathews really isn't pushing this bow. At least I haven't seen. They've pushed the V3 and they've pushed the last bow, the Prima, which is the female bow, but I haven't seen much on the Atlas. And I think Mathews made the Atlas to cater to that long draw archer, which is kind of a very specific niche, but I do think people will like that bow. But I don't know, never shot it. I've never shot any of these bows. I'm just giving you my first impressions of these bows that Mathews released. Now, the Prima, like I said, is the female bow. This is a 30-inch axle to axle bow with a 5.5-inch brace height, 321 IBO speed, and it runs at about $1,100. Again, it's kind of regurgitated material since the last female bow. I think it was the Avail is what they called it. Then again, I don't really know. I haven't shot any of these. I don't know how they feel. I'm just looking at it. It just looks pretty similar to the last kind of female bow. It has the same cross-centric cam system that they've used on the target bows and like crossover bows. And I think Mathews did a decent job this year of coming out with some new bows. I think the Atlas is kind of the biggest change. It's kind of going back into the roots with the speed bow and stuff, and it does cater towards the long draw archer better this year. If you're someone who's looking to upgrade bows as well, the V3, you know, it's a good option. I feel like if you have like a Triax or a Verdicts or a VXR or something, it's really not much different than that. But if you're someone who has a 5, 10, 15-year-old bow, getting a V3, yeah, it makes sense because it's a big jump in technology. If you're a female archer and you want to get the Prima, it seems like a good bow. It seems like it's done pretty well. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. Hopefully it was informative. If you found value in it, give this video a like. That's awesome if you would do that. If you want to go check out these bows, I'll link in the description. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.